Hey guys, let's get more news from Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Miami Heat getting a glimpse of playoff Jimmy Butler during regular season. There's already a thing called playoff Jimmy. But regular season Jimmy? It seems Miami Heat forward Butler has brought the same intensity of late as he does in the postseason. Butler is averaging 23.2 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 6.2 assists in the last 5 games. The Heat have won 4 during the stretch, gaining some needed momentum as the NBA All-Star break approaches. It's kind of one of those things where you have a feel for the game, Heat center Bam Adebayo said. You understand from just watching it. Sometimes, it doesn't go his way, and that's when he taps in. A lot of times you just get out of his way. Butler was locked in during Wednesday's victory against the San Antonio Spurs. He finished with 17 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 assists, his 15th triple-double with the Heat. He also had 3 steals and 1 block to help impact the defensive end. We sure look and feel a lot different when he's healthy and in attack mode and having fun out there and really imposing his will on both sides of the floor, Heat coach Erik Spoelstra said. He was so active defensively. He was basically a one-man zone. When he gets activated like that, it looks like we can be in 2 places at once sometimes. An energized Butler could help the Heat avoid a second half of the season on edge. Last year, they had to participate in the play-in tournament before making the playoffs. This year, they'd prefer Butler help them earn an outright berth into the postseason. It's good being able to get him the ball and allowing him to create for himself or for others, Heat guard Tyler Herro said. He's obviously one of the best in the league at that. To have someone like that on your team is very beneficial. Shandell Richardson covers the Miami Heat for Inside the Heat, a Fan Nation channel for Sports Illustrated. He has covered the NBA since 2010. NBA trade deadline, Miami Heat rumors the night before the deadline. It's the night before the NBA trade deadline. The rumor mill is churning. Multiple trades happened on Wednesday, and many more are expected to be made before the 3 p.m. Eastern deadline on Thursday. Things could get crazy. But let's talk about the team down in South Beach in particular. They already traded for Terry Rozier. Pat Riley is always unpredictable. According to reports, no one knows what the hell Miami is going to do. We will have to wait and see what actually ends up happening. Before we get to the deadline tomorrow afternoon, here are some more Miami Heat trade rumors. There has been a lot of noise surrounding Dorian Finney-Smith. He is a great 3-and-D player, something the Heat could use at the forward spot. He's 6 feet 7 inches tall with a wingspan that spans almost 7 feet and has been considered one of the NBA's most versatile defenders for a long time. He can shoot too, and currently is shooting 38.3% from 3 this season for the Nets. Finney-Smith does seem to have a lot of suitors around the league, so the Heat would have some competition in trying to trade for him. It's been reported that the Nets have been looking for 2 first-round picks for him, which is kind of a high price. But Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype reported recently that just 1 first-rounder coupled with a role player could get a deal done, Caleb Martin, perhaps? If Miami wants to add another player out on the wing, then they should look no further than DFS Nets teammate Royce O'Neal. While he is a tad undersized, other than that he is an ideal 3-and-D wing. He is an excellent defender and a good shooter. O'Neal has been very consistent throughout his career and could be a glue guy for this team. He's also cheaper than his aforementioned teammate. Depending on what they would have to give up, a trade for both DFS and O'Neal could be a very intriguing move to improve this roster. The Heat are rumored to be one of multiple teams that are interested in Jazz big man Kelly Olynyk. He previously played for Miami for 3.5 years, from 2017 until the deadline in 2021. Olynyk could help the Heat space the floor more as he is a really good shooter, currently averaging career highs in three-point percentage and field goal percentage, and he's a really good passer. With him being on an expiring contract, he probably won't cost too much. Plus, the Heat wouldn't have to worry about taking on a contract for next year. There seems to be a market for Andre Drummond, the Bulls' veteran center. The Heat desperately need more size down low. Thomas Bryant and Orlando Robinson don't play much, and Nikola Jovic is still really raw. Haywood Highsmith has been good, but he's only 6'7". Veteran Kevin Love has been solid, but it's not enough. So if they are not going to play the other guys, then they need someone else. Andre Drummond would fill a big hole, literally, for this team. He is an excellent rebounder and has long been regarded as arguably the league's best offensive rebounder. He would be perfect to put next to Bam Adebayo. The Heat could slide Bam to power forward, and Drummond would anchor down low at center. He also likely wouldn't cost very much to acquire, and Chicago seems to be willing to accept whatever the best offer is. PJ Tucker wants to be traded and the Clippers want to trade him. He would reportedly welcome and return to South Beach. But there's one big problem: he's on an $11 million contract. With the Heat's current cap situation, it would be difficult to acquire him. Being willing to include someone like Duncan Robinson could help make the money work, but I doubt that the Heat would be willing to move him in this kind of trade. Jeremy Grant has been mentioned as a possible target for the Heat. He is on a big contract and, as a veteran, does not fit with the Trail Blazers' timeline. But who does Miami have that Portland wants? They didn't seem at all interested in Tyler Herro during trade talks about Damian Lillard. Plus, would these two teams even want to make a deal? Portland's general manager Joe Cronin seemed very petty with Miami during those Dame talks. It's a possibility, but I just don't see it happening. I will mention PJ Washington because I think he'd be a perfect fit for what they need. He's big and long and can play down low and is a good player. His numbers have dipped a little bit this season, but that can be attributed to how his role has been changing, injuries elsewhere on the roster, and discontent with being there. The holdup with a deal like this would be that the Hornets' asking price might be too big for what the Heat want to give up, as they have reportedly been seeking first-round picks and/or young players in return. We all know about Tyler Herro's situation. He is a good player but doesn't fit well next to Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. Every year at the deadline and in the offseason his name is brought up in trade talks. But Pat Riley has assured that he will only be trading for an All-NBA caliber player. There doesn't seem to be any of those kinds of players available right now, which means Herro should remain in South Beach through another trade deadline. And you fan, what do you think of the Kelly Olynyk situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.